What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we are going to be discussing the next fights to make for every fighter on the card following UFC 310 Pantoja versus Asakura. I'll be matchmaking for all the notable winners on the card, some of the losers as well. I'll put their next fights on the screen. You guys let me know who you want to see for all of the key fighters next, and if there's anyone that I missed, who would you like to see them fight. But we're going to get into it, and we're going to start off with the winner of the main event, Alejandro Pantoja. I'm going to put Kai Kara-France as the next opponent. This is a very interesting discussion though, and I was tempted to do a solo video just on Pantoja, but I feel like no one's going to fucking watch it, because I did a video who can beat Islam Makhachev after his fight with Poirier, and it got 16k views, right? But I just don't think a video about Pantoja would get the same sort of traction. But I want to do some sort of most underappreciated champions video or something like that, or most unbeatable fighters video, and put Pantoja in there because I want to give him some more credit. But Kai Kara-France, I'm going to say, is the next opponent, even though yes, in the thumbnail I put Demetrius Johnson. Congratulations, that's how YouTube clickbait works. I just don't think that's going to happen. If I could pick who was next, I would say DJ. If I was like, because these videos, they're a bit of a combination of me picking who I want to see next, but also me trying to like actually get the fight correct and pick who is going to end up being next. And if I'm going to pick who's ending up going to be next, it's most certainly not Demetrius Johnson. Even though that fight would be amazing, I would love to see it. And I think that'd be a great legacy builder for Pantoja, because if Stipe means anything for Jones' legacy, which it doesn't to be fair, then DJ, who is a year and I think about a year and a half less of an age gap with DJ and Pantoja than there was for Jones and Stipe. So I'm going to say that, but I'll stop talking about that because it's just going to go on for ages if I get started there. But Kai Kara-France, I'll say, is the next guy, because if you look at the flyweight division, beat Royval twice, beat Moreno 3 times, just beat Asakura, already beat Erceg, already beat Cap, already beat Perez, Tyra coming off a loss, Elbazi's coming off a loss, Elmabayev, no, not really. Like, Elmabayev needs one more. He had a close decision against Mateusz Nicolau. And then the only other guy would be Mikhaev if they bring him back to the UFC. I think he'll need more than one fight, though. Unless the UFC is just like, okay, we have no one, then I think they will probably avoid that fight for now. And I think right now Mikhaev is just not equipped to fight Pantoja. Like, he would lose to Pantoja if they fought right now very comfortably. Kai Kara-France is probably the last dangerous fight for him at the moment, because he does still have the pop. He could put him down, but I just can't see Kai Kara-France, who got his back taken and almost choked out by Amir Al-Bamzi, and expect him to not lose to Pantoja. So yes, he's dangerous. Yes, he did catch Erceg, but I don't think catching Erceg means you're going to KO Pantoja. And if you don't KO Pantoja, I just don't think he's going to outstrike him on the feet for that long. And I don't think his defensive grappling is the level that it needs to be with how good we're looking at, how good Pantoja's looking right now. So I think this is going to end up being next, because I don't think the UFC is going to do a fucking Royval trilogy. Even though objectively, wins over Moreno and Royval are better than just Kai's win over Erceg, when he also arguably, like, he had a close fight with Elbazi, lost on paper, we thought he won, but still close fight with Elbazi, and then a win over Erceg, compared to Moreno by decision, and then Tatsuro Taira, who was undefeated at the time. So I think Royval has better wins, but Kai Kara-France is the only guy that hasn't lost to him recently that deserves a title shot. So I think Kai will be the next fighter to fight for the belt. I saw some people saying Kai Kara-France versus Kai Sakura. No, you don't get to lose to the champion and then immediately fight top 5 again. That's not how it works. Anyway, let's move on though to the loser of the main event. I'm going to say we do Kai Asakura versus Steve Erceg up next. I think this fight's marketable in terms of like, both guys have fought Pantoja. These are the two guys that made up Pantoja's title offenses this year, both sort of undeserved title shots, if we're going to say that. But I think this is a good fight. I think Erceg coming off losses, because I don't want to see Asakura against like a really high-ranked fighter. Like, this dude is not going in there and fucking fighting Moreno in his next fight. I'm not trying to see that. That would be extremely undeserved and just shit. And if he loses then there's fucking no hype on him. But Erceg's reasonable. Erceg's on a 2-fight loss streak, and he arguably didn't deserve a title shot anyway, so it's kind of like, okay, he's a known name in the division because of his fight with Pantoja, but he didn't really deserve that shot. So I think this is a good bounce back fight. I don't want to see fucking Asakura versus like a Josh Fan because I don't want Josh Fan to get chinned. But give him a guy who's proven to be good, proven to be talented, another guy who's fought for the belt. But other than that, like, what are you going to do? Like, you can't give him an unranked fighter unless you just want him to crush a can. They've brought him over here. They're probably paying him a good chunk of money. Make the fights actually worth it. You could get some good excitement with an Asakura Urseg fight. I wouldn't mind the idea of a Taira fight in Japan, but like if they're going to go to Japan, I don't think they would do an all Japanese main event because that leaves them with like no other fucking Japanese fighters to put on the card. So Urseg versus Asakura I think makes sense. Stylistically it's a cool fight. I don't think Urseg's going to quite dominate in the grappling the same way Pantoja did. I think we'd be left with more cool striking exchanges. There's a chance Urseg gets chinned. But I also want to see Asakura do well in the UFC because I want Pantoja's win to age well. Like, if this guy goes out and then gets slept by fucking Alex Perez in his next fight, then people are going to, like, that'll take away... They won't take away, but it won't credit Pantoja's resume. And we won't be able to look back on it and be like, damn, bro, he went out and smoked Asakura. That's an amazing win. But if Asakura goes on and fucking sleeps Urseg and then fucking beats Royval or something, then we can be like, okay, this dude's just beating the best guys every time out. Like, that's the thing why I was kind of annoyed to see Urseg lose to Kai, because I wanted Pantoja's win over Urseg to age well, and for it to be like, damn, bro, he's actually really good, right? But if Asakura loses, then it won't make it age too well, which is what I don't want. So I want to see him do well in the UFC, still stick around as a top 10 fighter so we can have that stat of just like the whole rankings and then how many wins Pantoja has. I'll be interested to see where they rank Kai Sakura as well though. But anyway, let's move on though to the co-main event. Next up, Belal versus Shavkat. I ain't even going to talk about this shit, to be honest, because we all know it's next. If anyone's matchmaking anything other than this, I don't know what you're doing. But Belal Shavkat, May probably when it ends up happening. Belal says he's cleared to start training now, but I don't imagine they turn this around super quickly. Shavkat took a bit of damage, probably let those knees recover. He was taking some teeps to the knees, some of those oblique kicks. So and Shavkat's never been the most active guy anyway, and neither's Belal, to be honest. So I assume we see this around mid next year, probably like May. The May pay-per-views are always pretty weak. I could see a May headliner pay-per-view. Like, what did we have last year? We had Pantoja Urseg last year before in May. What did we have year before? 2023 May pay-per-view. Was it... Fuck, I'm trying to... Oh, it was Aljo Cejudo, yeah. Like, the May pay-per-view is always pretty weak. So I could see, like, a Belal... It's not a weak main event, but I could see that. Not like they don't try and overly stack it, or like a June... the pay-per-view before International Fight Week I could see. So yeah, I don't expect we're going to see this too quickly. I wouldn't mind it to just run it in April or March, but I doubt that happens. So yeah, anyway, let's move on though to the loser of the co-main event. Ian Gary versus the winner of Buckley versus Covington this coming weekend. It's the only fight, in my opinion, that makes sense. Ian Gary doesn't deserve to be sent way down the rankings. He doesn't deserve to fucking have to take like a Michael Morales fight. Like, we're not going to run back-to-back prospect fights, in my opinion. Buckley's not a like prospect. If Colby wins, that's the fight to make no doubt about it, even though Colby will probably fucking call for a title shot the way he is entitled fucking bitch. But yeah, what are we seeing? I seen JDM should be fighting Usman, but he'll probably end up fighting Prates. This isn't even me trying to glaze Prates. Like, I'm just telling you guys that's what's going to happen, because I just don't think Usman... Unless they do him versus Leon in England, and then there's just nothing else on the Australia card. But if they're getting JDM on the Australia card, I imagine it'll be Prates or Sean Brady. But that would be a terrible idea for JDM to accept Sean Brady. If he's going to fight anyone that's not Usman, he shouldn't fight Sean Brady. That's all I'll say. But, yeah, what am I even talking about? So that's what I'm saying. It'll be JDM versus Prates or Usman. I reckon it'll be Leon versus Brady. Burns can fight Morales. Wonderboy can fucking sit out and, I don't know, just exist. Luke, I'm going to matchmake for him in a second. And he's not rematching Jeff Neal, and he's not rematching fucking MVP. So I think Ian Gary versus the winner of this fight makes sense. Buckley would still need another fight before a title shot. I know he called for Usman. You're not going to get Usman, buddy. Buckley, it would be easy to book as well. It'd be easy to book Buckley Buckley versus Gary. It wouldn't be as easy to book Colby because Colby's a duck and didn't accept the fight for Tampa. That's on record, by the way. But yeah, I think this is the fight to make next, depending on who wins this coming weekend. Let's move on, though, to the next fight on the card. No, this is not good matchup for me. Cyril Gane, I must fight fat heavyweight. Cyril Gane, you're going to get either Pavlovich or Almeida. Both of them are fighting. Both of them are probably going to win. Pavlovich is going to beat Rosenstrike. Almeida's going to beat Spivak. You take your pick. Do you want the big Russian dude who's going to swing punches at your head? Or do you want the fucking Brazilian juice head that's going to double leg your ass? He would probably prefer Pavlovich. If I'm Cyril Gane, I'm taking a Pavlovich fight over a Volkov fight. Because yes, he did clearly lose to Volkov, but Volkov also tuned up Pavlovich. Like, this fight was relatively competitive, but it should have clearly gone to Volkov. With his Volkov, Pavlovich was like, okay, clear 30-27, zero argument about any of the rounds. So, I wouldn't mind Gane's chances against Pavlovich. I do think he's looking kind of mid recently. This time off for Gane is not doing him favours. Like, fight more. You're a heavyweight. You don't cut weight. Like, fight 3 times a year. There's no excuse. Even if you have to fight down the rankings. Like, fight. I know they're all blobs and he's probably beat half of them already. But, yeah. You get neither Almeida or Pavlovich. I've gone with Pavlovich because I think it's the more fun, stylistic matchup. But, either way, I kind of don't want to reward him. Fucking give him Mick Park and I don't care. Anyway, let's move on, though, to the real winner of the feature fight of the card. Volkov, unfortunately, gets the Almeida treatment, and that's also the other reason why I didn't do Gane versus Almeida, because then it would be Volkov. They're not going to do Volkov Pavlovich too. And other than that, who's Volkov fighting? Blades again? Like, I don't know. Or Gane versus Blades, I guess. My rumor is that Blades is fighting fucking Rizvan Kunaev in his debut, so Blades should win that, but I'm just waiting on that shit to get announced, because apparently that's what's happening. Don't quote me to that, don't hold me to that, but I was told that Blades might be fighting Rizvan Kunaev, so we'll see what happens. But Volkov Almeida fighting against Sergey Spivak. Heavyweights don't really stay too active. Volkov has been one of the more active heavyweights, to be fair to him. Should have the longest heavyweight win streak right now, but that got ended since he got robbed. But yeah, you're going to get Almeida. I think he can beat Almeida. I think his grappling's not that bad. I know he got taken down by Gane. He could lose. That is a possibility, but I think this is a competitive fight. Wouldn't mind it as a 5-round main event in the Apex. I wouldn't even mind that either. Or like an arena main event. That'd be cool. Or like a fight night co-main or something. I don't know. But make this fight, it'll be cool. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Bryce Mitchell, brother. We got Bryce Mitchell versus Aljamain Sterling. This actually makes so much sense, I'll be honest. Like, you might be like, oh, there's such a big jump up the rankings for Bryce Mitchell. He only won 1 fight after getting KO'd. It's not a big jump up. They've got Aljo at like number 9 in the rankings. I think in the fan rankings, we got him a few spots higher, but they got him at like number 9. I think Bryce Mitchell's 13. This is not a crazy jump up. I know Bryce Mitchell accepted a call out of Doohoo Choi. I got someone else for Doohoo Choi. But yeah, this is a sick fight. I reckon grappling scrambles will be elite. Keep Aljo in these type of fights. These grappling matchups, I think he would beat Bryce Mitchell, sorry. I think he almost beat Movzar and kind of threw the fucking fight. And if he'd held top position for like 30, 40 more seconds, they probably would have still leaned it to him instead of like the late flurry from Movzar. But yeah, I think him versus Bryce Mitchell will be a cool fight. I think he would win comfortably. I think his takedowns looked great against Movzar, and I think Bryce Mitchell looked kind of mid against Kron, even though he did finish him. But I mean, everyone kind of looks mid against Kron because Kron just doesn't fight you. So it's difficult to look good against someone who's trying to hug you the whole time. But yeah, Bryce Mitchell, Aljamain Sterling, make it happen. Let's move on, though, to the man, the myth, the legend, Kron Gracie. I'm not matching for Kron Gracie. Doohoo Choi. We give Doohoo Choi the low-ranked but ranked test of Dan Ige. That's what you do. Dan Ige coming off a loss, you fight outside the rankings. That's the Dan Ige cycle. Apart from the loss to Lopez, where he then fought Lauren Murphy, every fucking Dan Ige fight, you fight a ranked opponent, you win. You fight a ranked opponent, you lose. You fight an unranked opponent, you win. There we go. That's the cycle of fucking Dan Ige. It's the fucking 3 guarantees of life, bro. Death, taxes, and fucking Dan Ige cycling between ranked and unranked opponents. But yeah, he should fight Doohoo Choi. Doohoo Choi looked good, bro. This will be a sick fight. Doohoo Choi just tuned up and finished Nate Landwehr. Nate Landwehr went to decision with Dan Ige. They've got a common opponent. It was competitive in both, or not, it was not competitive in both fights. Dan Ige whooped Landwehr's ass as well. But yeah, this is a fight to make, I believe. They should do this. This should happen. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. I know he got fucking battered and 10-8'd basically in half the rounds, but Nate Landwehr versus Haider Emil. Haider Emil's fighting William Gomez. We're not trying to do fun fighters versus these fucking Frenchy ranged fucking kickboxers. Get out of here. William Gomez, you can fucking go fight some bum. Like, go fight Sadiq Yusuf. I don't give a fuck. Just N-words in Paris. I was about to say it. N-words in Paris matchup right there. Like, do that fight in France. But yeah, we're not trying to see Haider Emil versus a ranged kickboxer. Do Haider Emil versus fucking Nate Landwehr or Joe Anderson Brito. Any of those three fighting each other, banger. Make it happen. Anyway, let's move on though to actual winners. Next up, we got Reyes. I think he should rematch Volkan Ozdemir. Now, this almost flew over my head. I almost forgot this was a rematch. Reyes won by decision. I believe it was a split back in, I think, 2019, I want to say. This was before Reyes killed his career by forgetting that you're not supposed to beat John Jones because they'll just ruin your whole career. They'll rob you and then they'll give you endless power punches. But yeah, Reyes made that fatal mistake. But I think he's looking much better here. He's on a 2-fight win streak in Big 2024, you know. Shout out D-Ray. And I think he should fight Volkan Ozdemir, who's coming off a loss. Volkan is higher than him in the rankings. Reyes is on a win streak. Volkan's on coming off a singular loss. I think that's the way of the land. Like, if you're coming off multiple wins, you fight someone coming off a loss. That's kind of how it works a lot of the time, especially since Reyes beat him. If Ozdemir had beat him the first time, I'd probably go a different direction. I was thinking Reyes versus Walker. I want to see Reyes make some quick turnarounds, bro. Like, they're probably on a similar schedule. Reyes definitely took less damage than Ozdemir, who's never been the most active fighter, but Ozdemir killed Johnny Walker. I was going to say Reyes versus Johnny Walker, but I'm like, I'm not trying to see Johnny Walker just die, even though I'm going to match him up with fucking, I don't know, like Ming Yang Zhang after he loses to Gushkov. But yeah, Reyes versus Ozdemir 2, I think is a good fight, competitive fight to make, and again, not someone who's going to just hopefully sleep Reyes out cold, and rather we can actually have a competitive fight and see if the skill level of Reyes is still there or if he's just fighting bums. Anyway, let's move on though to the next fight. Next up, Vicente Luque got the win over Magumbu. Choked him out in like 50 seconds, and I'm pissed at him for actually making a good call out, because I was going to do this and I would have done it and it would have made so much sense and I would have looked like a genius. But now I'm just like, I'm just giving him who he called for. Masvidal is legitimately the only fight that makes sense for both Masvidal and Luque. More so Luque, because Masvidal could just fucking finesse his way into like a fucking Wonderboy rematch or something. I don't know. Like, Masvidal might just be like, I only want a top 10 guy. But look at, like, for Luque wise, he's not fighting fucking MVP. For the love of God, do not ruin this fucking career comeback potential and fight either Morales or Prates. That's an awful idea. You're not rematching Jeff Neal. You're not rematching Joaquin Buckley. You're not fighting Burns because you're best mates. He was in your corner. You're not fighting fucking Ian Gary, I don't think. Again, like, Ian Gary's not fighting that far down. You're not fighting Colby. You're not fighting Buckley. I already said that. Who else am I missing? Like, Wonderboy, no. Like, who's Luque fighting? Masvidal makes perfect sense for him, and it's around the level that I think Masvidal's at right now, because I think Masvidal looked so washed against Gilbert Burns. Who would you pick, chat? Let me know. Well, I'm saying chat, comments. Who would you pick between Vicente Luque and Jorge Masvidal? I actually want to see this. I think I'd pick Luque, to be honest, because I think Masvidal sucks at this stage and he's washed. But yeah, Masvidal's not going to come back for an unranked fighter. Like, Masvidal's not coming back for a Neil Magny fight or a Chiesa fight. And he shouldn't be getting a top 5 guy. Like, I swear to God on everything. Like, wallahi, if this guy fucking gets, I don't know, like, if this guy fights Leon Edwards, I'm going to be like, I'm going to crash out. No, I'm like, if he fights Leon, though, or fucking Usman again somehow, or fucking, I don't know, like, any of these guys, Gary, if he gets a fucking Ian Gary fight, I don't know, this shot should not be in the top 10. Like, Luque is generous, like, he shouldn't even be ranked, but just because of star power, you can give Masvidal a ranked fight with Luque. But yeah, this makes perfect sense. Great call out for Luque. And I'm glad that he switched to this rather than he was initially in the week saying he wanted to fight Prates. Someone must have told him, hey Vicente, that's not going to go well for you, buddy. Chief, don't take that fight. Fight Masvidal. He's old and washed. But yeah, let's move on, though, to the next fighter. Now, Movsar Evelev, fucking Peterlev, I don't know, what's next for him? Because realistically, let me just get this out of the way. It should be a Lopez rematch. Like, because what they're doing is they're doing Ilya versus Volk, which no one wants to fucking see, because we know what's going to happen. And Lopez is apparently fighting Josh Emmett. But what should be happening is Ilya Volk, I guess, just get it out the way, and then Lopez Evloev. That's what should be happening, and winner gets a title shot. Rematch, great fight, first time, would be incredible, make it happen. Lopez the only guy that can make Evloev fun. But what I think's going to happen is he's probably going to get a fucking Yair. But Yair supposedly should have been fighting Arnold Allen, but then Allen said he's been going through a bit of shit with injuries and stuff and all that. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe they do Yair versus Allen. If Ortega can't get a fight at lightweight and they want to keep him at featherweight, they might do it just to keep him active, just to keep Evloev active. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen with Evloev, because objectively it should be Lopez or just wait for a title shot. But fuck this guy. And if you're going to go to decision every fight in your fucking career, then you're going to have to win more fights to get a title shot. So, Evloev, I really don't know. I'm putting Yair and Ortega, not because I actually want to see. I think a Yair fight would suck. You just ragdoll him and take him down. Might get his first finish on the ground, we'll see. And then an Ortega fight just isn't that interesting. Like, in terms of an interesting fight for Evloev, he does deserve a Lopez rematch. I love how he's the one that's deserving it, because Lopez now above him, which is amazing. But yeah, I don't know. Who the fuck's next for Evloev? I just don't... It's like, because I'm trying to think what the UFC's going to do. Like, at this point, they might fucking give him, like, Josh Emmett. Like, I'm not sure. Because it doesn't seem like they're going to do a Lopez fight against Evloev until maybe if one of them wins the belt. Maybe they do it, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's move on, though, to the next fighter. Up, Brian Battle can fucking fight Neil Magny. I'm not even going to talk about this, dude. This was a shit performance. We missed weight. Performance, negative aura from Brian Battle. Fight Magny, you bum. Just clinch each other and fucking hug each other. I don't care. Anyway, moving on to a better fight. Now, Josh Van's my guy, and I want to matchmake for Josh Van the right way, which I'm not sure if I'm doing. Because I don't know, Tim Elliott could just fucking crafty vet his way to a fucking random third round submission. But I think he can stuff the takedowns of Elliott, and I think he can do better on the feet later on. I've seen the Usyk idea flown around. I don't mind it. I just don't love the idea of giving Van Usyk less than a year after he got KO'd by Charles Johnson. Like, I think Van is very good. I think he can be a champion or top 5 fighter in the future. But right now, I don't want to give him a crazy high level of opposition, and I don't want to give him anyone that has the potential to sleep him. Because if Van is going to stay active, then I want him to be fighting. I don't want him to be staying active whilst fighting power punches. I saw someone say Perez. I don't want him to fucking maybe get chinned by Perez. That's not what I want. If Nicolau was still in the UFC, I would say Nicolau. That would be my pick. If Mateusz Nicolau was still here, I would do that. And I think that would be an amazing fight for Van to look good. I think he can look good against Elliott, but Elliott's a little bit more crafty, a little bit more veteran maxed. We'll see what happens, though. I think this will be a solid fight if it happens. Also, they're somewhat connected, I guess, in terms of Tyra was going to fight Tim Elliott, and then Elliott pulled out, and then Tyra ended up moving to 302 to fight Van, which ended up getting cancelled because the UFC rebooked the two of them. So there's like a little bit of a connection there, I guess. I'm reaching, but Van versus Tim Elliott, Van versus like a Manel Cap if he loses to Bruno Silva is not a bad idea. But again, I don't want Van fighting dudes with pop that could just KO him randomly because his chin's a bit questionable. So I want to build Van the right way. He's 23. We don't need to be giving this guy a top fucking 7 opponent. So yeah, Tim Elliott, good test. Also coming off injuries, older. I think Van could win this pretty easily. Let's move on, though, to the next fighter. Hooper versus Jared Gordon. We are running the full Oliveira fucking title run here. Oliveira beat Clay Guida. That was the first fight of his 11-fight run, I believe. And then, this was not the next fight, because obviously some of those guys from back then are out of the UFC right now. But this was the next opponent I could find that's still in the UFC, I believe, apart from maybe Christos Giagos, was Jared Gordon. I forget the order of the fights, but I know he fought Giagos, and I know he fought Gordon, and I know he KO'd Gordon. So we do Chase Hooper versus Jared Gordon, and we run the Charles Oliveira fucking like lightweight title run gauntlet, and see if we can get Chase Hooper to a belt. That's what we do here. But let's move on, though, to the final fighter. Njogogu versus, he can fight Waldo Cortez Acosta. Ranked opponent, looks similar, I guess. I don't know. Let's see how long we can take this light heavyweights just being top 10 heavyweights thing. based off athleticism, because I'm very confident that he will be a top 10 heavyweight because he's not a fat fuck. I might make it a second channel video. I don't know. It might not get views on the main channel, so I might just be like, bite the bullet and just do a little 10-minute rant video on light heavyweights that need to move up. Let me know if you guys want to see that. But anyway, that'll do it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what fights you guys want to see next for all of these fighters. Like, subscribe. Pantoja's him. I want him to fight DJ. That ain't gonna happen. But low-key, bro, go watch DJ's reaction video. And man had a look in his eyes, you know. People talking about Chuck with the look in his eyes. DJ had that look in his eyes. He contemplated. I was like, maybe. I don't know what that noise was. It's just maybe, you know, maybe. But yeah, DJ, take the fight, please, brother. That'd be awesome. But anyway, that'll do it, guys. Peace out. Leave video ideas you guys want to see in the comments, and I'll do them. But yeah, goodbye.